As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. This one's worth just a little bit of digging into. And the headline here is from Forbes. And the headline is Enthusiast Gaming acquires U.GG for $45 million to enter League of Legends space. So Enthusiast Gaming bought U.GG. U.GG is a community platform. It's news on League of Legends, gives people insights how to improve their play. Supposedly 8 million people use U.GG every month. They're expected to generate $8 million in revenue. And Enthusiast is paying $45 million in cash and shares with additional bonuses that could take the total to $56 million, like with earnouts, things like that. So big content acquisition, I would argue. Enthusiast really trying to corner the market on gaming communities. Curious if you guys like this, don't like this, think they overpaid, not paid enough. Jimmy, I don't know if you have thoughts on this.
I want to read more about that article. I mean, I like Enthusiast a lot as a brand, and content and media is obviously key. League is as big as it gets. Maybe there's, and we were just talking about Arcane as well. So there's just a lot of themes that are overlapping in my mind right now, but I haven't been able to put them together. I would probably defer to you and Jeff as far as valuation goes. I'm more of like a gut kind of guy, like gut feel kind of guy.
Jeff, do you have thoughts on this?
I'll echo Jimmy's point. I mean, I think that Enthusiast does a great job of finding these sort of, I don't even want to call this a niche community, because 8 million people League of Legends, like, these are pretty mainstream brands and mainstream numbers, but they do a great job of targeting communities and going out and making these acquisitions. The price is, one, I'm impressed at these. It's crazy how many of these websites and communities exist that are like doing 8 million in revenue and 3 million. Like, how many people work at this company? It's kind of unbelievable to think like you could just have this website that's generating like 3 million in operating income a year. Like, imagine it's like you and your like 5 friends running that. Like, that's pretty nice. I have no idea whether that's the case or not. But in terms of a revenue multiple, that's pretty steep. I mean, they're paying 6 times. On a operating income, it's obviously closer to like, what, 12, 15. Like, that's not cheap per se, but I'm sure there's some synergies maybe they get. And I think with Enthusiast, they're getting a lot of credit for the roll-up story. So, to some extent, it's not a massive overpay regardless. But I think when you're talking, those numbers are a little bit high, I think. What do you think, Paul?
I don't think it's steep at all. Content's king right now, and everyone knows it, right? Like, this is the reality. Those eyeballs are worth something, but it's also just all the, like, they have what they call the most accurate League of Legends statistics, right? So it's all the stats, it's all the player data, it's all the, right? All that is value, and all that content's valuable. Like, even U.GG as a domain is these days is valuable, right? Like, how many times do you see a single letter domain name? So it's one of those things where I feel like they could have easily paid 10 times revenue, and I probably would have been okay with it, just because I think where these things are going and the kinds of synergies that Enthusiast in the long run will be able to extract. I'm surprised you say that, Jeff, because we've seen things at 40 or 50 times revenue, right? We've seen things trading at these kinds of multiples. This seems downright reasonable.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It depends I think with things that you see trading at those crazy multiples, they're usually like platforms or have some recurring revenue or something. Like, I'm not versed enough in terms of I I think the multiple they paid is a bit higher than what Enthusiast probably has typically been paying for some of their sites. But if it is, you know, a site that has a lot of the stats and content or stats that it's polling, like that might actually increase the valuation, because it could be, you know, kind of a big data type play. But just in general, like I think most of their acquisitions are usually, I would say, lower on the multiple scale, but those are more just websites rather than data.
I'd have to confirm, but I'm pretty sure the stock price went up on the deal, basically paid for the deal itself, right? Like just the nice bump they got from sort of the markets thinking this was good. Like, Lindsay, do you think there's a world where, because Enthusiast is getting to this scale where they're basically potentially buying up, cornering the market on all of these niche gaming communities, in the same way we talk about Tencent buying up all the game developers, right? Is Enthusiast sort of the Tencent of gaming content communities?
This was actually exactly what I was going to say. Is this UWG seems really, really central to Enthusiast's whole ethos, which is like all about building communities where people can connect and all of that. And I truly do love what Enthusiast has done so far. We've been following them for a little bit now, and it's just, I think that they've made a lot of the right moves. So I don't obviously know exactly what UWG is doing, but this is also a really tough space to be the winner in. We've seen a lot of companies that have struggled and to create this idea of a community and have it be successful. I think Enthusiast totally stands out so far as a company that's been doing it well. That being said, it's still hard to compete with creating all of these community-based platforms, just because social media networks and other things offer such an easy alternative. So it's not that I don't think Enthusiast has really made the best step yet, and I don't think this is one either. But I'll just be curious, 5-10 years down the line, what their strategy is, and if they're able to build out their content and their platforms the way that they want to. So anyways, just a little hint of realism in there, but I like this move, and I like a lot of what Enthusiast does.
I think that the ecosystem for content is much, much, much more fragmented than the ecosystem for game development. So
but doesn't that mean there's more opportunity for consolidation?
It does, but I don't think you'll like just in terms of market share. Like I just talking about the Tencent comparison. I love Enthusiast. I think their roll-up strategy has a ton of legs. And I even where they are just today, I mean, some of the things they put out, like the numbers, the verified kind of ComScore eyeballs that they have is incredible. Like they're talking about, they're right up there with Minecraft or Roblox and Twitch in terms of like monthly active eyeballs. Which then starts to beg the question, okay, if you have that many eyeballs, like you have to start monetizing them significantly more, because their monetization is still clearly a lot lower than like a Roblox or a Twitch. But they've done an impressive job, and I've always been a fan of Enthusiast. But the comparison to Tencent, I think, is a bit much.
I don't know. I see, when I see a fragmented space, but where there's potential synergies between the fragments, it feels like a good consolidation opportunity, right? And when you have like whatever their market cap is now, $1 billion or $750 million, whatever it is, access to capital, right? Like a team that seems to be able to execute on these acquisitions, like it starts to feel like maybe they could roll with this, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe 5 or 6 more like this, right, over the next 12 months. I don't know what their strategy is exactly from a pace perspective, but it feels like there are enough opportunities out there and enough communities out there that if they really wanted to start rolling these up in a very big way, they probably could.
Yeah, and it's clearly a business where scale, the synergies in the scale is undeniable.